People deluded. Fridays equals Q&A day. So yeah, let me answer your questions. Take a breath there. I can still taste the strawberry in my mouth. But yeah, thank you very much for the questions. You lot come hard. Please keep coming hard with the questions, or I can't do this. I'm never gonna be a loner and make things up. But I'm wasting time now. Let's crack on. Antonio Bankers asked me, and I say this every time, but I know you're always gonna be here with the questions, so keep it up, my guy. It's appreciated. DG, which young defenders are really great at proactive defending? I'm guessing you hear me say that a lot, but I would probably say Delight, Canute. Actually, I think Joe Gomez as well. These are the ones coming to my head. There's obviously more. There's quite a lot, to be fair, but they're the three that are in my head right now. So let's move on. Henry's asked, big up yourself, Henry. DG, is Eddie and Nketiah really good enough to play first team? I must admit, I love but hate questions like this because you never know. To be fair, he hasn't been given many opportunities. He's still developing. You need to remember he's 19, turning 20 in May. If you was to give him 10 games, there'll be games he scores a brace. There'll be games he's anonymous. He's still trying to get that consistency. Like society with millennials, you can't get experience until you're given a chance to get experience. And he's got a lot to develop in, not just tactically and stuff, but mentally. Because if I bring it back to the Blackpool game, when I saw him missing them chances, it happens. But he looked like someone that was thinking too much, someone that knows that chances haven't been given to him that much often, and he needs to take advantage. Obviously, that's good if you're thinking like that, but that hurts your natural game because you're forcing things. And some of the chances he missed in that game, I've seen him bury, like you saw when he came on against Norwich, like you see for every other week for under 23. So he's got to develop people. I don't know who's been in your ear or what you've heard. I'm not here to say he's the next this and that, but I think he'll have a good career. At the end of the day, strikers are judged on goals, so he'll need to score goals, and he'll probably need to do it in the men's game. You've got Aubameyang and Lacazette. Obviously, if one gets injured, like you've seen with Wells, one's been injured. A first choice striker's been injured, so Eddie gets to fly about and be part of the first team. For depth reasons, for Unai Emery, that's good because if another one gets injured, Eddie steps in. But how much realistically is he going to play ahead of Aubameyang and Lacazette unless one gets injured? I know Aubameyang, when you look at it, he's 29, 30, so within the next 2 years or so, he probably declines and he might still start scoring goals. I hope he does. He never stops scoring goals, but he might be moved on or might decline or might not just be first choice, so which one could step in. But for Eddie, that's a big ask to want to sit around for 18 months, 2 seasons. So we'll never know, man. We'll never know. For me, he needs to go out on loan next season. I get the depth reasons, and actually Wells looks to be leaving on a permanent. So, with that being said, there could be chances. But if I'm Eddie next year, considering I'm going to be 20 later, and he's been badding up under 23s for how long now, he needs to go out and play, whether that's in the Prem, whether that's in loan in Germany, which I'd like, and play week in, week out against experienced strikers. Some centre-halves will be physically imposing, some will outsmart him. No defences will be the same, and he'll have to learn and adapt and change up his game and things like that. Ultimately, strikers are judged on goals, but I think people have him down as this hot shot, pocket rocket, Jermaine Defoe striker, and a lot of that's true. He is a very good finisher, but I think he's got more to his game. Could improve with his back to goal, but he's all right at that. I like the way he drifts in channels, and he can work the channels very well, in my opinion. But we'll see how it goes, man. Antonio's asked me again, DG, do you rate Knockout of Brighton, and would you take him in our squad? Not really, no. I think he's got a good shot on him, but he's one of them man there. I think if he was to play in the Championship next year, he'll take it by storm. In the Prem, he's so-so. He's got good technical ability, but I wouldn't take him. He could be a squad player, but I wouldn't take him. It wouldn't be for me, my G. What other questions we got? Scrolling down. Raymond's asked, why is VAR so long? I wish I knew myself, my guy. I think it's still got a long way to go, and for me, I like to see. I actually have changed my mind with VAR. I was very anti-VAR. I'm actually for it now, but it's still subjective. It takes too long, like you said. It takes way too long to reach a decision, which, away from tension and stuff, just bewilders the fans, the players and stuff, and nobody knows what the hell's going on. But for me, at times, it's not like it's a computer thing. If it was a computer, like, I don't know, man, like Hawkeye, what is it Hawkeye with tennis, when it shows you literally is the ball in and out, in or out? I don't know how it would work in terms of a computer, but if a computer could literally tell you, yes, the man's been fouled in the box, or no, he hasn't, or it's a red, or it's a handball, or whatever. Because it's still, at this moment, that would be better, because still at this moment in time, in my opinion, it's still subjective. It's still down to someone's opinion. It's a bag of referees, like, well, you can't see it, but looking at a laptop like myself, looking at it from different angles and stuff, and that's good. But sometimes when you slow something down, if you look at something differently, it looks different and it can be harsher as it is. And how do you quantify stuff? Because at times I feel not every foul is a foul. Do you see what I'm saying? Not every foul in the box is a penalty, in my opinion. So that shows you myself, I'm subjective. So if I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's a foul, but it's not a foul, another angle showing a foul. Do you see what I'm saying? If it was a computer sort of thing where it tells you literally it's a foul, it's in or out, then what could you say? It would still throw up debate, because you'd say the computer hasn't got logic or whatever, but that would be a better route for me anyways. But I don't have all the answers, so I'm not going to pretend. You've also asked, how is the European game growing in Asia? Well, / Africa. We'll start off with Asia. Asia, clearly, man. It's the Emirates, but the Asian regions were always there, man. It's with China, Australia. Many clubs are doing the same things. Clearly, Asia is a gold mine of things. Singapore as well. We're doing all these tours, man. So it's growing more and more. Obviously, it's a global game. In Africa's a massive footballing continent. I mean, you just look at I've never been to Africa, but you could probably everywhere you walk, you'll see a football shirt. Africans are collectively in the north, east, west, south part of Africa, wherever, they're all football crazy. It doesn't matter how diverse different regions are, they're football mad. So yeah, I'd say it's still growing. I'd say it's still hungry. But when I look at how we look at Asia or North American tours, you could say it lags behind in that. Yeah, I can remember Everton going to Africa on tour. And I can remember a couple of examples, but it's not frequent. Like, I haven't seen any club say they're going to tour Africa or tour some region in Africa this summer. Maybe they deem it's not commercially viable for them. Maybe they just want to look at better emerging markets. I'm not too sure. I do think the whole African region is being undersold, in my opinion, in terms of commercially. And I also feel, I know you've said Asia, but one specific Asian country, in that India. You look at China, I'm so sure you can get to China from India, if I remember my geography rightly. And you see in all the other places, but how many people are going to India? There's a billion people or so in India. Footballing mad. You saw how crazy Indians went for the under-17s World Cup. 40,000 people watching little 17-year-olds. You ask them under-17s, Jadon Sancho, Emil Rose-Smith, Callum Hudson-Odoi, at the time, because they have now, but at the time, have they played in anything as Phil Foden too? Have they played in anything as crazy as that? They'll tell you no. So if them Indian fans are going mad for under-17s, which the majority will not get to higher heights, and they probably don't even know the majority of these players, similar to myself at the time, imagine if it was Lacazette or any of the top 6 players or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? So I feel India specifically is an untapped market, and I did see Bayern Munich were kind of leaning towards a tour there. I think it will happen. I don't know why it hasn't happened, but that's a region in my example. Joe's asked, one player in the world you could sign, past and present, who and why? Well, Messi, and if I have to say why Messi, there'd be an issue. If you're talking specifically to Arsenal, I'd say either Sol Campbell or Thierry Henry. Well, Sol Campbell, Tony Adams, or Thierry Henry. Because could you imagine, like, I mean, Tony Adams, if we had Tony Adams and Rob Holding, it would be a madness. Or Tony Adams and Socrates, or just Tony Adams in his prime as part of them options. Ridiculous. Sol Campbell, the same. If we had Sol Campbell, I'd think we'd definitely get top 4, in my opinion. Pardon me. Also, Ashley Cole. I know people won't like that, but I just thought of the left-back region. I wouldn't mind Ashley Cole. I haven't got to explain Thierry Henry. Could you imagine a 4-3-3, my guy? Thierry Henry, Aubameyang and Lacazette would have so much sauce. Ozil feeding them behind them, or whoever. So it'd probably be them, to be fair with you. And they're Arsenal players, and they do their thing, man. A non-Arsenal player, I'd say Rio Ferdinand, for the same reasons as Tony Adams and Sol Campbell, in my opinion. So it'd probably be that, my G. Random one, but it's coming as well. I'd say, actually, I was going to say Sagna, but he's a pagan, so I'm going to say Lauren, because, like, we obviously Maitland-Niles is doing his thing at fullback. You've seen Lichtsteiner play there and Jenkinson, but if you had Lauren and Bellerin there, Lauren, like, you see what I'm saying? Bellerin would be second choice, and Lauren would be reliable and wouldn't be thinking about this. So maybe them lot there, man. Bellerin's my guy, but Lauren, I mean, yeah, man, Lauren was Mr. Reliable of sorts, man. Steady Eddie that's just done his job, man. Hard to get past and everything there. But, yeah, man, that's your question done. Dave's asked, what do you think of the Carrasco to Arsenal links? My extended thoughts, and we've been through this in terms of what I think of this, but I don't know, man. Clearly, it seems his agent or people around him or advisors. Obviously, it started off as just links, and it still is just links because I'm not involved. But if I just read between the messages, it sounds like he's made his money in China and he wants to come back to his homeland, come back to Europe, sort of thing. Whether that's in Spain, like he's done, whether that's in England, whether that's in Italy, whether that's in Germany, who knows? I would take him, but yeah, man, that's what I feel on that. Maybell's asked, what Arsenal players have a chance of realistically going to Euro 2020? That's a good question. On the topic that he's playing right now, I'd say Maitland-Niles, but I don't think Maitland-Niles will go purely because his games are coming at fullback. At fullback, he's not going to play ahead of Trent Arnold, Chilwell at left back, Demeni Walker. We could be here, man. I'd rather him than Trippier, but you get the point. So Maitland-Niles won't go. Probably for me, either Reece Nelson or Rob Holding. Big fan of Rob Holding. I think Rob Holding would be there instead of Michael Keane if he never got bodied. Sadly, against United, I feel Southgate really messes with Holding. He's worked with Holding and Chambers before. Chambers, maybe, you never know. He's doing all right for Fulham. If he goes to another club and does that, who knows? Or if he does it here, who knows? But I would say the one hand on heart, I'd say Rob Holding. Maybe Reece Nelson on the basis of you're seeing, well, I think Phil Foden eventually will get involved, but you're seeing Callum Hudson-Odoi, you're seeing Jadon Sancho. Obviously, Mason Mount got called up. He's not been back, but Mason Mount has been called up, so the young players are being looked at. So if Nelson, I mean, he was playing in form. If he carried on the early form he had for Hoffenheim, he might be in that England squad. So I'd say Nelson would be my wild card, small hope for Nelson. If you ask me hand on my heart who has the most chance, I'd say Rob Holding, in my opinion. Would love for Maitland-Niles to do it too. So yeah, hopefully that answers you lot's questions. We've got a lot of questions, man. Big up yourselves, people, man. I've answered Antonio's already. Don't know why there's two of them. Keanu's asked me, what do you think of Daniel James, the Welsh kid? I like him a lot, man. Assuming you're talking about the Swansea lad. I think he could do a job in the Premier League, to be fair. A team like Bournemouth or whatnot, they should look at him. So, yeah. Ikene, hopefully I've said your name correctly, said, Deluded, why do you keep a straight face all the time? No green teeth on the Gaza, my guy. I don't know, man. Big up yourself for doing the match of the day analysis on man's facial features. I don't swing that way, but yeah, I don't know, my guy, man. I really don't know, man. It's just me, innit? It's just me, man. You got to ask Martial or someone because people say the same about him. But yeah, Barrick asked, if we were to sign a centre half from the Premier this summer, who would you go for? You put me on the spot there. I wouldn't mind Diop of West Ham, you know. I still think I'm still not convinced 100%, but I like him, man. I like him. I wanted him a bit more when he's at Toulouse. Watching him in the Premier, it's a bit, but he's decent. So probably I'll look at him. Wouldn't mind Maguire, on the basis that he's better than Mustafi, Johnny Evans, and just saying him because I can see why Wenger used to be linked with him all the time. So I'd say him. I don't think he would solve our problems, but someone like Ake, for example, I just like Ake. Connor Cody can play there as well of Wolves, and his mate Bowley as well. So admittedly, I wouldn't be looking at none of these to sign them, to be fair, unless the price was right. But these sort of man, and I'm probably missing someone else out. Assuming you mean excluding the top 6. So yeah. Marble Halls has asked me, what does the club do with Nketiah? Should he be sold or put on loan? Is he really at the level to be potential Premier League or Champions League starter? Or have his goals versus Norwich just gas things up? Always find messages like this a bit tone deaf. I don't know about gassing things up. I don't know how much you rate players or yours or people you speak to's IQ when looking at players. If he wants to be a Premier League potential starter or Champions League, it's all on Eddie. It's on the management and whatnot to give him chances, and allegedly Unai Emery likes him, but it's all on Eddie. How bad does he want it? Whether it's at Arsenal or elsewhere, he needs to go and get chances, because obviously for depth purposes and squad purposes, it's good having him around, travelling with the squad. In case that Aubameyang or Lacazette get hurt, but he's not playing. He's really not playing, and for me, he needs to go and play first team football somewhere next season. He's going to be 20 by the time the season starts. Can't really afford to be playing under 23s, and he's at that point now with a lot of young players, and it annoys me where you're part of the first team but you're not in that. You're training, you're travelling, but you don't realistically, as good as you are or much potential you might have, Unai Emery or whoever, when they're sitting down thinking about Newcastle to come, for example, or whatnot, they're not considering starting you. You're not in their thoughts like that. So he needs to go out and go and get football and go on loan somewhere. Should be on go on loan. Way too young to consider selling him. And to be honest, whether he hits the potential you've claimed that he can get or not, if he can become a good player and he can potentially progress to first team level in some capacity with us, great, because we need these sort of guys. But at the same time, if he doesn't, he could be sold for a decent change. So yeah, man, I'm not too sure about gassing things up and these things there, but if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. It's really a case of consistency. You can't, like I said earlier, you can't get experience without being given a chance. I always give the example of 10 games. You don't know what you're going to get from Eddie with 10 games. You said the Norwich one, you can also bring the Blackpool one where he was missing chances, of course. Under 23s, you know what you're getting. He'll probably score 20 goals in 10 games. There'll be games where he's hot and cold, so he needs to go out and play games, man. You've also asked me, do we need a wide forward when we still score a lot of goals? I believe we need a winger, to be honest with you. The burden, obviously, Aubameyang and Lacazette are the strikers, so the goal-scoring burden lies with them. But when they're not at it, what happens then? Away from scoring goals, I don't feel we utilise wide positions enough beyond Kolasinac. Yes, good moves have started from wide positions, and I can bring you several, but we're quite a narrow side. Our left-back is our width, really and truly, and Kohler's very good at that, but for a top 6 club, it shouldn't really be the case, man. Like, we're very predictable in many aspects. So away from just goals, I think we need a winger. But yeah, you're entitled to believe what you need to. Christian's asked me, who do you think Arsenal should buy in the transfer window? Let's just say Brandt first and foremost. Brandt and a centre half in Canute, to be fair with you. As much as I love them questions, my guy, I must admit, when it comes to Q&As, I do think it is quite exhausting answering the same question in regards to who Arsenal should buy. In fact, I find them quite irritating, to be fair with you. But thank you for your question. Swerve Els asked, what happened to Emre Moore? Just hasn't kicked on, to be fair, man. I think just hasn't kicked on, just hasn't showed any consistency. Probably moved to a lot of clubs in quick succession as well. Allegedly, there's attitude issues. I don't know him personally or work with him to say that's true, but maybe there are reasons, man. I remember some people tried to say he was better than Dembele, lol. But yeah, you've also asked me, who would you want to replace Aaron Ramsey, Barella or Nketiah from Milan? I like Nketiah, but I'll go with Barella. That's my guy. Not sure if I've answered this question last week, but Reese Prince asked, what do you think of Canute from Leipzig? You've heard me say his name several times while I've started this Q&A, so clearly I think he's a bad boy footballer, my guy. What other ones have we got? Jay's asks, why can't we go for Zorc from Dortmund? Assuming you mean the technical director or whatever. I would love that to happen. That would be someone I'd look at, my guy. But maybe he's just committed to Dortmund and whatnot. Maybe we have tried and it hasn't happened, man. Miranial, big up yourself, man. You always be saying positive messages through Instagram. But you've asked me for my best away day. It would be Arsenal versus Manchester City when Coquelin and Santi were the midfield partnership, my guy. And you've also asked me in the last 10 to 15 years what have been your best Arsenal kits. That's a tough one, man, on the spot to remember everything. But I'd say the kit in 2001/02. I'd say the 2004 yellow kit with the 02 sign and the collars. I'd say the away shirt, either 06 or 07. Do you not remember the white away shirt? And it had like the writing and a bit of gold on it. And the best example, the kit we played when we beat AC Milan when Seth scored in the champs. That kit, I liked that. We've had a good couple yellow away kits in my opinion. The home shirt with the 02. There's a good one. There's some good ones, man. Good ones. But 10, 15 years, you're asking me for a lot, my guy. The blue, mainly the blue away kits, man, because blue's my favourite colour, my guy. But that's a good question. Luke's asked, is there any books or resources that have given you insight into tactics? Yeah, but it's mainly anything to do with Pep Guardiola, Reiners Michels or Sashi, to be fair with you. I wouldn't say there's been a book in particular. But yeah. You've also asked me, how impressed have you been with Wolves and do you think they're a threat to the top 6? Potentially, just on, maybe not this season, but on the basis of what they're trying to do and the money they're being given to spend and the talk with Nunes and actually Mendes, the agent, what he's allegedly doing in terms of bringing clients in and in terms of what Nuno's doing on the football field. They're playing very well. I think there's times they've had wobbles, of course, but they've been doing quite well, and if they continue spending the money they have, improving in terms of coaching, they have the ambition to break into the top 6. So who knows, man? They very much could be one day. So we'll see, man. I've been very impressed with them. Glenn's asked me, which young player is the most likely to make a huge impact in the starting 11 within the next 2 years? If possible, please pick one. that's a difficult one, my guy. Because for as much as I love young players, you can't predict the future. It relies on a number. It relies on a number of things. To be fair with you, you look at, for me, Nelson. You look at Nelson. He's gone on loan, so I'd be inclined to believe his chance is coming. The same goes for Emil Smith Rowe. I feel Saka and Amaechi, give or take. I don't know which one is better. I change my mind all the time. I think spots were potentially open for either. So I'd say either. I would say either four of them. And there's actually other players we could sit here and list, man. But I'm gonna just go with Nelson, to be fair with you. So yes, it's always difficult, my guy, man. Great question though. Ems asks, what's your thoughts on Amaechi's development at Arsenal? Well, I feel for a while Amaechi's been the worst kept secret at Arsenal in that he's obviously younger than everyone as well, but I feel with the Nelsons, Emil Smith Rowe, even Saka is younger than him, and a lot of people are only starting to realise how much potential Amaechi actually has. Like, he hasn't shown it at the under-17s for England or in the FA Youth Cup or several times this season for the under-23s. Very excited, man. He's still got a long way to go. He needs to, for me, in the final third, make the right option all of the time. That's what stops a lot of these young players, and that's what makes you become a better player. At times he does play with his head down and pick the wrong option, but he's improved at that. I think he's very exciting, like you said. He's already mixing his game up. He knows when to go down the line. He knows when to come inside. He knows when to play it simple, and it's just about refining that. Lovely set-piece taker. For me, left-footed as well. We're missing actual left-footed winger, so on the left-hand side, he could do dirt. Like you saw against Dubai, well, in Dubai against that side. Coming off that right-hand side, he's showing what we could miss. So I'm very excited about Amaechi's development, man, but we have to just keep calm, let him do his thing, man. Hopefully he gets his debut before the end of the season. If not, hopefully he appears at some point next season. His contract is up, I believe, at the end of next summer, and he has the option of another one. I tweeted about that, an option of another year. So Arsenal need to kind of be on the case with that and get that one sorted. But we'll see, man. Nicholas has asked me, big up yourself, Nicholas, as well. Who would be your top 3 choices for the role of technical director? Away from the getting hung up on technical director terms, if you're just asking me someone that I believe would be good to come in here in terms of scouting and all of these things, then I would say Paul Mitchell, formerly of Spurs, and I'm not sure if he's still at Leipzig. It's completely different, but Abidal would be my wild card. I just think there's something about Abidal at Barcelona. Campos of Lille, they would be it. And like my man said earlier, Zorc, and there's obviously a number of targets that we could have a look at as well, but off the top of my head, I'm going for them ones, my guy. Sheen has asked, would you rather buy 3/5 players or instead go for 1/2 with promoting youth? It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one because it depends. If you like, it depends. You have to get the blend, man. Because I do feel some people that just call for youth are not watching them players, and these same people that want a bag of youth in the team will complain that we're less competitive because they'll be trying to get consistency. It's a tough one, man. I do think the likes of Amaechi, I'm paraphrasing, but Amaechi, Maitland-Niles in central midfield, Mavropanos, Emil Smith Rowe, Nelson, these sort of guys, I want them within the team, and you want to keep the pathway clear. But 3 to 5 signings, I mean, if it's a centre half, two midfielders in a box to box and a sort of defensive ball-winning midfielder, then cool, a winger, and possibly a fullback, either on the left or a backup on the right-hand side, then I'd be all up for that, and I still think you could bring young players in. So I'd probably say 3 to 5, assuming it's you're allowing me to bring in the players I want and players that are actually going to actively improve us and address the areas rather than just a random 3 to 5 players. But I'd also be open to signing, for instance, a centre half, a central midfield, centre half, central midfielder, and allowing young players to take up these spots, people, in my opinion. So that's a difficult question, but I'm gonna go with what I said first. Great question, though, man. Finally, I believe I don't think I've missed anyone out. Let me just check. No, I ain't missed out anyone. So finally, wait, sorry, bro. I need to make that, apologies, people. I need to make that larger. I can't see. But Vijay said, big up yourself, man. Been a while since you've asked the question. I know you want Julian Brand, but would you take someone like Felipe Anderson in the summer? I wouldn't mind Felipe Anderson. I feel for a while he's stagnated a bit. I thought he would be good at West Ham. He'd be a decent signing, but I didn't think it'd be this level. So yeah, man, I'll take him. The only issue is they're gonna ask us for a pretty penny, and I don't think we've got that. So while I'd be open to taking him and possibly trying to turn his head towards coming to Arsenal and moving across to another London club, I think it would actually be more expensive than Brandt, really and truly, because West Ham are selling to a rival. He's only been there a year. He's ultimately their player. So yeah, we'd be held to ransom, and quite rightly so, by West Ham. So someone like Brandt, allegedly his release clause is 24 million. If that's there, would that make more sense? Because if you activate his release clause, you can speak to the player. Do you get it? So yeah, man, and obviously even things like when Reece Oxford was doing well and stuff, and clubs wanted to buy him. Look at what West Ham were doing. So they'd be quite hard to deal with in terms of negotiating. So we'll see, man. But people, honest to God, thank you for your questions, man. Without you, I obviously can't do this. So thank you very much, man. It's been a lovely Q&A, and it's been filled with some diverse questions. Please get in the comments and ask more. People, Deluded, I'm out. For me, it's time to go to the dentist. I'm out.